I'm joined here by John Mack, the chairman of Morgan Stanley, also one of the participants, of course, in this hearing. Mr. Mack, thank you for the time today. I appreciate you joining us here on Bloomberg. Sir, there was a conciliatory tone to what you told the panel members. Do you think they got the answers they were looking for? And is this a worthwhile process at the end of the day?
Well, number one, it's worthwhile. I think we need to get to the bottom of what happened, how it happened, and what can we do going forward to ensure it doesn't happen again. Now, I think they have another almost 10 months, 11 months to do this. So I think it's a good start. And as you know, they asked us a number of times, would you write us to answer some of these questions that they wanted specifics on? And also many more questions that clearly were asked the panel. We will get in written form and we'll respond to that. But clearly it was a good start.
You talked specifically about leverage and the issues there. And you also talked about the regulators need more tools, need more visibility. Are you satisfied that what Congress is working on, what the administration is working on right now, is getting close to that end goal, something that you can still do business with?
Well, we've just started. I mean, we're working with our regulators in helping them go through things that would work. Clearly, they're much more involved than they've ever been before. I think what the Federal Reserve is doing is very focused on trying to solve some of the issues we've had in the past, like too much leverage, like risk models, like different businesses that we go in. So it's too early to say, do we embrace what is going to be approved? Nothing's been approved yet, and it's still a work in progress. But the one thing I am convinced of, the work that people are bringing to the table, the seriousness of all the players around the table, we will come up with a much better system going forward than what we've had in the past.
You were asked by the commission members today to also talk about compensation plans. You know what's going on right now, the headlines about bonus season, about the public outcry, that there's a disconnect between Main Street and Wall Street. Can you talk, are you all perhaps missing the public sentiment out there right now?
Well, listen, we're in our compensation progress now. I will take no bonus this year. It will be the third year in a row that I will not take a bonus. So I think by and large, people are sensitive to what's out that you talk about in others. Clearly, a lot less cash will be paid. We will have clawbacks in any bonuses where we can take money back. Ties them to the long-term success of the firm. So I think we're making progress.
There's an unemployment rate of 10% out there. A lot of Americans don't make anything close to what Wall Street. There's going to be a backlash to the point where this start talking about things like bonus taxes like they're doing in the UK?
Well, unemployment rate is very high, and there is outrage already. And until we start creating jobs and getting people back to work, and people stop losing their home, no matter what number is put on compensation, if you're out of a job and someone else has a job and getting paid well or fairly, however you want to measure it, there's going to be a backlash.
So let me ask you as well, at the same time that you're here and there's so much focus on the banks, you have an administration that is, the president's going to announce it tomorrow, talking about putting a tax on banks to help recoup the costs of the bailout, the money that might be lost to the TARP program. Is this a reasonable approach for the government to try and make up for the deficit situation right now? And are they asking you to do something at the same time? They're also asking you to lend and to bring this economy back.
Well, listen, I haven't seen the plan. No one has yet. By and large, I'm against increased taxes, but I'm not against a way for all our firms who are helped by TARP, who are helped by the government, to pay for the enhanced regulatory regime we're going to have going forward. So just as the banks pay FDIC some payment for that protection, if we're to pay in some form of tax to make sure we can pay for an enhanced regulatory scheme, I'm all for that. That's not an issue.
One final question, if I could, for you. Mr. Blankfein talked about in his testimony contingent capital standards perhaps being some way for regulators and for the banks to be prepared for the next crisis down the road. Do you support this idea of stress tests, of having banks have contingent capital? If they do get into trouble, they've got a ready source of capital handy, something regulators would require of you going forward, perhaps a substantial amount of money.
I don't have an issue with that. We need to keep the system sound and safe, and if we need to do that, we need to do it.
John Mack, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us here on Bloomberg.
Thanks a lot.